Alright. Okay. So I just wanted to. Oh god, I fucking hate the way I start these so much. Ignore the way I look today. We're about to fix it. So I've been thinking about something for a while. And I just thought, why not just say how I feel, right? Why not just talk about it? See what comes of it. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. And if anything, maybe I'll stop thinking about it so much. Uh, my absolute closest friend, one of my closest friends, one of my dearest, dearest friends, we were best friends for 11, 12 years, I think so. We met in 6th grade. And I don't remember a whole lot of that period of time in my life. Like, a lot of crazy stuff was going on. So my memory's kind of iffy. But I remember we shared a class together. And I was a very shy kid. I think she was too. And we just kind of clicked, Our little friendship kind of grew into something more. Whenever I had to change schools, maybe I think it was like a year or so after we kind of became friends. And I remember when I had to leave that school, and I was in 6th grade, y'all. Or, well, no, when I left, I was in 8th grade. And so when I was in 8th grade, and I remember hearing I had to leave schools, I was so scared because I'd always hated school until I had finally met this person. Well, we'll just call her Elle for now. And now that I had a friend, I was really enjoying school, and not just her, I was making other friends too, and it was just a really good feeling. I was nervous that whenever I finally left, our friendship would kind of fall off, but this girl, y'all, she made it a point to stay in touch with me, and I tried to make it a point to stay in touch with her. And we stayed friends. We kind of lost touch for a little bit, but we always sort of checked in on each other. Somehow we would always end up talking. And we became really, really close. My first real close friend, I think, well, because, we were at that age, we were like, let's say we're like 14, 15 now, we would go a period of time without talking, like a couple months or something like that, still not at the same school. Things were going on in her life, things were going on in my life. I had made some other friends. I had made my other best friend, we'll call her Kay, and I don't know, it just kind of didn't feel it was like it was something I had to worry about with her, like if we were just thought about it one day, or we just kind of weren't busy and wanted to check in. That's kind of how it was. And then I don't remember what it was, but one day we just kind of quit talking. The phone calls were less. We fell off. We fell off for a while, actually. It was over a whole summer. I forget what year it was. I think it was maybe my freshman year. My freshman or my sophomore year. We fell off when we didn't talk for about a year, really. And I was in Walmart one day. I'm pretty sure it was Walmart. And who do I see? It is Elle, my bestie. Okay. I remember wanting to cry. I ran up. I didn't run up. She pretty much ran up to me though. And we hugged each other. We were like, oh my gosh, we got to get back in touch. And just try to kind of catch up for a few minutes. And after that, we did catch up. We started, I told her about the things going on in my life. I had a boyfriend at the time. That actually would have ended up becoming the father of my kids. And I was going through a lot. I had just moved out of my mom's house in a not so pleasant way, really. And I don't know, it was just the right timing. It felt like she kind of just came, popped back into my life. And we started talking again. And she didn't like my boyfriend. She always thought he was kind of stupid and didn't think that he treated me the best. Um, Me being young, I didn't really take it to heart because I disagreed with her at the time, and I was like, no, everything's fine. He treats me fine, treats me good. She's just trying to be a good friend and look out. Well, we become closer, right? As the time goes by, and it's maybe like a year later, about 2 years later, after we started talking again, I actually ended up moving in with said boyfriend. Okay, and then we kind of fell off again. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't think it definitely wasn't on her part. I don't think she ever intentionally was like, this is going on. Let's just back up. I don't think it was like that. Like I said, we just both had stuff going on in our lives and things was changing. Anyways, after her and my boyfriend, I want to say became closer. Not really. They were nice to each other for my sake, which I really appreciated at the time. But they never got along. Didn't like each other. She was hell bent on thinking he did not treat me right. He was hell bent on thinking that she was against him. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, things in my life aside from her, like with my relationship and my family and stuff, started kind of falling apart. And it wasn't any of their faults. It was really my fault. I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. I started messing around with drugs that I shouldn't have been messing around with. Started drinking when I couldn't mess around with the drugs I shouldn't have been messing around with. And she kind of, every now and then she would bring it up. Like we all used to smoke, and she was never a really big smoker. It just didn't really make her feel very comfortable. And she wanted to quit at one point, and I remember so many times, and it hurts me to admit it, but I remember so many times convincing her to smoke with me, and I hate that. I hate that I did that, but you live and you learn, right? Anyways, she did eventually quit, and we stayed friends. That wasn't something that was gonna separate us. But when I finally came clean to her about the other drugs, about the harder stuff that I was doing, and I was into a serious depression, and she knew all this. She knew the stuff that was going on in my life, and she knew it was the last thing that I needed, as a real friend would. And she stuck by me. She didn't tell anybody my secrets. She didn't go behind my back and do nothing sideways. Like, she was there. She was like, I want you to get better. I'm not going to support you doing this. I'm here for you. I really want you to get better. And I was. This is all over a span of 3-4 years. She had been coming over to my house nearly every day for a solid 2 years. And we would smoke, not all the time, not every day or anything like that, but we would smoke and hang out, and talk. Anytime something crazy would go on, like in our lives, we would always meet back up. Like, even if it had been months when we hadn't talked, if somebody was going through something really bad, we'd show up. She would always show up. I say she would show up. She was the good friend, okay? I thought that I was a good friend. I really did. I thought that I was doing what I needed to do by just listening to her talk sometimes. That is not all a friend has to do, though. And, I know that being older, like, I was just really selfish. Anyways. Where was I? What was I even saying? She was such a good friend that she supported all the kind of decisions I was making that were positive for me. And whenever it was something that I was doing I shouldn't have been doing, she always let me know. She was straight up, like, in my face, like, hey, what are you doing, stupid? Don't do this. And I never listened. Ever. Ever. And she was still patient with me. She would, if I didn't have money for something, I could call her. If If it was my birthday, she was showing up. If it was Christmas, she got me something. Like, she was always, just always trying to lift me up when I was in a bad spot, which was pretty much all the time back then. And she made two of my oldest son's birthday cakes for his first birthday and his second birthday. She helped my family set up a baby shower. Like, she did so much for me, and I never did anything in return for her. And I really hate that. I think about it all the time. But what I really wanted to make this video about is kind of what pushed us over the edge to where we were no longer friends. We weren't friends anymore. And it had been, I think it was the 11th year, 12th year of very, very close friendship, you know. Like I said, I had been messing around with some things I shouldn't have been messing around with. And whenever I came clean to her and told her, it was kind of like an incentive for me at the time. Like, I really got to stop doing this or I'm going to lose my best friend, you know. So most of the anything other than smoking here and there and drinking here and there, I quit. I did quit, and I give myself that. I'd quit for, I think it was 3 weeks. The next time I had seen her, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. The next time I had seen her, and I thought that I was doing really well. You know, I thought, okay, I'm proud of myself. But the addiction in me, like that part of my brain came out, and if I wasn't doing the harder drugs, I wanted to drink, or I wanted to do something that was lesser. And to me, in my messed up mind, it was still progress. And her, being the good friend she is, she came over this day, and I had been having a really bad day, just like any other day. I'd been having a bad day. Me and my ex had been fighting. I really wanted to smoke. I really wanted to drink, and I didn't have any money for it. We were broke. I didn't have any extra money to supply my needs, my habits. So I was complaining, looking around my house for change, something to go buy for Loco, something to buy something with, and none of this clicked in my head that I was acting absolutely insane, right? I mean, going around my house looking for change to buy alcohol, I can't even believe that I used to do stuff like that. And I remember looking over, I was standing at my kitchen counter, and I remember looking over, and she looked so mad. She looked so upset. I was like, I don't remember exactly word for word what I said, but I think I said, what is it? Or something. And she said, I'm not going to watch this anymore. She's like, I just came over to hang out with you, and all you can think about is getting alcohol or drugs. And I just came over to hang out with my friends. She was like, it's like I don't even have my friend anymore. And I remember at the time, and I know this is wrong, but at the time I got very defensive immediately, and I was like, what are you talking about? At least I'm only doing this, and you should be proud that I've quit for this long on the other things. And that was my brain. That was my thought process. And I said, look, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch. And she got up off my couch and walked out the door, and she said, I won't. And I have not seen her in person since that day. I've been to her maybe 2 times since that day. And this was 4 years ago, I believe. 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't know, I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not good at, explaining myself really. I know there's a lot of details that I've left out for time's sake, but man, when I say I wish I had realized then what I realize now. Because I've been thinking about it so much. She's been on my mind. Ever since that day, I'd absolutely love to have that friendship back again and to not screw it up. The 2 times we've talked on Messenger since that day, we'll talk for a few minutes, and then I get freaked out and stop talking to her because I'd love to have her back in my life. I miss her. I need her. She's like a sister to me. But friendship, that's what that is. That's what it is. It's the only real friend that I've ever had for that long that would do just about anything for me. And I screwed it up. I screwed it up and screwed up a lot more after that, too. I had a suicide attempt very shortly after. Non related. It was a lot of things going on in my life that played a part in that. Um, I was just so ashamed. I remember, I can't believe that this is really it. She's really done with me. And I don't know. I still think about it to this very day. I get so ashamed when the two times I tried to talk to her, that my life still isn't perfect. I've done a lot better. I'm not on any hard drugs whatsoever. And I never, almost never ever drink. I'm just not the same. And to go back and think about how it was, and think about how if I hadn't screwed that friendship up, I would have it right now at a time where I would love to have a friend, because now I am starting to do better in my life. But because of my bad past decisions, I'm a pretty lonely person. There's limited people that I haven't screwed over in my life in a way, shape, or form, or pushed away. And every time I think about talking to her, I'm just scared that because she was such a good friend, I don't want to have her as a friend again just to let her down again. I want to have a maybe not perfect life, but a really good life set up before I risk screwing that up a second time, if that makes sense. I have severe anxiety, PTSD, I have a heart condition, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, and I have a lot of things going on that always is affecting my anxiety. A lot of the things were self brought on. But the idea of me ever reaching out to her and her still being disappointed in me breaks my heart. Because she was just such a good friend. Such a good friend. We went through thick and thin. Her family even, I really, I love her family. I miss her family. I know her mom doesn't like me anymore because of the fight that we had. And it's sad. Like, I lost more of my life than I thought I did. I didn't realize it until it was gone. Cliche or not, it's true. And I don't know where she's at anymore. It's been over a year since the last time I tried to talk to her. And I always wonder, almost every day she pops in my head at least once. Are you married? Do you have kids now? Are you okay? Did you finish college? Did you get the job you always wanted? Are you okay? Do you have pets? Do you still like to sit in kitchen floors and, have meltdowns? Like me? Would we even still be able to be friends? Are we too different? It's the stuff I think about every day. What would happen if I picked up the phone right now and shot her a message? Am I ready for that? Am I ready to risk it by messing it up again? And I don't know. I've talked to people in my life about it. My mom was very close with her and loved her and cared about her death. My mom's a different sort of individual, so it's sort of hard to talk to her about things like that. But like my boyfriend and the people who are in my life know about her, even though they never got to meet her. And they really encouraged me to reach out and try and, start my relationship with her again. But the fact of it is, every time I think about it, it brings me back to that day, that look on her face of just utter disappointment. And I broke her heart, man. I broke her heart. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am for her making that decision that day, because I never ever want to push somebody away like that again, ever. For for me to say, well, if you don't want to see it, don't watch, and then watch my best friend walk out the door and me not stop and think right then, what's going on? What am I doing? I just, the changes that I've made, I can't even remember how I thought that any of that was right. And, you know, I wanted to be there, but I blew my shot. I wanted to be there for her wedding when she gets married, if she gets married. She was in the room when I had my oldest son. Like, that's how close we were. Best friends forever, man. Forever. 12 years, and I threw it away over being mad because I didn't have change to go get a Four Loko. And what do I even really say other than it's one of the bigger regrets I have in my life. Honestly. Me and her have matching tattoos even. Okay, let me tell you this story real quick. I hope my storage doesn't run out. I was going through a really bad breakup with that ex that she didn't like. And when I was 19, and it was the only time I ever got my own place. I just got my first job. I should have been proud of myself, but because of the pain of the breakup, I just kind of was blinded to all that right then. But she was there to help me through it. I was having my own place. I mean, it wasn't the bills or anything like that. I had that. I was working. I was making good money. I should have been having the time of my life, but because of my depression and going through things, I just couldn't handle it, and I quit my job. And I moved into Lauren's house. She talked to her family, and that's the thing, right? She talked to her family for me to be able to help her family with the bills and things like that. Not because they needed it, just because that's what you do. Being a 19-year-old, and you want somewhere to stay that's not your own place. So I was supposed to pay rent, and I quit my job like 3 days of living there. Didn't find a new job. I just kind of used them. It wasn't something that I was aware of at the time. I kept telling myself, oh, I'm going to find a job, or oh, this or all that. I did it for these reasons, and I really thought at the time that I was. So as you can imagine, that didn't last very long. Her mom's like, all right, you got to go. We love you, but, Anyways, during that time of me staying at Monty's before I moved in with her, we were hanging out one night, and I had been having the roughest day. And I remember wanting a tattoo. I wanted a tattoo so bad, and we said, all right, what are we gonna get? And back when we were kids, the first time she'd ever came to my new house after I switched schools, she had sat on my porch with me, and we seen this little caterpillar. And we had made a joke about it. I can't remember the joke. It was years and years ago, but something about Mr. Caterpillar. And I remember thinking that day at Monty's when she asked, what would you even want to get? And I wanted to be spontaneous, and I thought of that, and I was like, let's get a caterpillar. Let's look up worm. Let's look it up. Caterpillar worm on Google. See what pops up. So we did. And we picked the silliest one, y'all, that was up there. And we go to get this tattoo. We got it on our right ankle. Sorry, excuse me. We had it on our right ankle. And the guy who did my tattoo, he thought it was funny because it reminded him of this old commercial from the 80s, he said, where this French fry was trying to a caterpillar. And he goes, whoa, I'm a French fry. And so he had asked me, and he thought it was so funny. I don't know the context. I've never been able to find the commercial he was talking about. I've looked it up. Anyways, he was like, if you let me put this French fry underneath your caterpillar, I'll do it for free. And I said no. I was like, no, I want ours to match, whatever. That's weird. And I don't know if she knows this. I'm not sure if I ever told her in those 2 times I talked to her, but after we had the falling out, and me and my ex had gotten back together, that same ex and all that, like, that's why she didn't like him, because we had already been through a breakup, and she had helped me through it before. And I went back, and I thought as like a symbol or something, I would have the French fry added to my worm tattoo. So that way we're not matching anymore. Not because I was upset with her, but because, really, I didn't think that she'd want to still have that. And it's just so sad because, I mean, that's somebody that I still to this day risk my life for. Still. If somehow she got my number, somehow, and called me and said, hey, I need your help ASAP, I do whatever I can. Ever can. I just can't express the regret I have and the how much I miss her being in my life. My mom misses her. My sister. And I don't know. I just it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind every day for a long time, and I just thought, why not make a video? Right? I'm still not comfortable yet messaging her. What's the chances she watches my YouTube? Probably like 0. I don't know if anybody will even watch this. I get crap views on here right now. I might always. But even if it doesn't get to her or hit somebody else somehow, I do feel a little lighter with it being off my chest. So, I don't know, fingers crossed for me that one day I'll either have the guts to talk to her or I'll fix my life enough to where the anxiety of talking to her about it is gone. Fingers crossed.